Hello, I'm Mike, and he's Julian. Where's she gone?
she's fallen off the chair.
Where's she gone? Georgie. Hi, I'm Mike Brampton.
And my name is Julian Ho.
Welcome to Veterinary Ramblings.
Mike, it's good to see you. How are you?
I'm excellent, thank you, Julian. And I'd like to welcome everybody to episode 5 of Veterinary Ramblings. And we've got a cracking guest tonight. Fabulous guest, our first lady on the show.
It is. And what a lady to have. This is Georgie Hollis, who is the instigator and founder of the Veterinary Wound Library and Bandaging Angels. It's a source, a resource we've used many, many times. It's absolutely fantastic. If you've not been on the internet and looked at it, then look at it. But she's not only the founder of the Veterinary Wound Library and a jolly good egg to boot, so brilliant CPD, but she has other irons in the fire.
Should we let her in?
I think we should. We'll chat about these things.
She's in the waiting room now.
Great.
Here she is. Georgie!
Hello!
Georgie, hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you.
That's good. Excellent. What an opening.
What an opening.
How are you? Very nice.
Which way round do you want to sit? Any way round's fine.
That's just brilliant. That's
Sorry
brilliant.
about that. I was dying to try it.
It's like almost like the Invisible Woman.
Wasn't it?
It's like, hasn't it?
Let me do that. Hold on.
Georgie, Julian has just introduced you as the founder of the Veterinary Wound Library.
Very sensible.
Amongst lots of other things. So I'd like to share my screen with you because I've been doing lots of research on you and background stuff because...
And there's such a lot, isn't there? There's such a lot to find out about. Tell us, Mike. Tell us what you found out.
Absolutely incredible. Well, Georgie, I mean, you're involved in horses, and I find it incredible that...
Oh, my God.
Only was you...
What?
But no... Oh, Mike.
What?
Mike.
What?
No, Mike, you've done it again. Yes, there's horses.
Yes.
Mike, this is George Hollis,
Yes.
who died in 1879. During the Indian Mutiny, he was awarded a Victoria Cross.
Oh.
No,
I think I might have that somewhere.
Oh. So
have you still got it, Georgie?
No, well, I'm a bit confused. I thought last look I was a farrier.
This isn't you, is it?
No.
No, Mike, it's not.
Sorry.
It's not George. I'm sorry.
So you didn't come back from the Indian Mutiny and take up professional football?
Right.
You weren't a famous goalkeeper? Oh.
I couldn't catch a cold.
But I put a lot of work into this, and I found all sorts of information.
That's the one. That's the one.
I'll just throw all of this away then, shall I?
No, that's Georgie. Well, no, that's not Georgie. That's a man in a dish dasher and a donkey. But that's Georgie's work. That is. Look at that foot.
My handiwork.
That's a footy
That was
work.
a prototype. It wasn't the real thing.
No, you went back and moulded the real thing afterwards, didn't you?
I did. Well, you see, they said that the donkey needed a foot. It's a bit of a long story, but that Professor Derek Nottenbelt was contacted, and he said, "I know someone who might be able to make you a foot." That wasn't the donkey's leg they were sawing off. And I got in touch with Legs for Africa to see if we could find a stump that would fit the donkey. You see, so Legs for Africa were very good, and we found.
That'd be a frightening van to break into, wouldn't it? Late at night, just thinking.
It would.
I got something right.
You did get.
You got something right.
Oh, good.
This is brilliant. Do you know, donkeys and I don't have a very good history, Mike.
All right. Why's that?
Donkeys. I was in a play a couple of years back called The Beggar's Opera,
Right.
and the name got changed to Donkey Hurty because 2 days before opening night, I got knocked out by a donkey. Unfortunately, actually, that was it. I got knocked out by a donkey, unfortunately. See, I haven't done equine work for about 20 years, and my daughter was at a brilliant nursery school that had donkeys. It was on a farm. And the owners of the nursery said, would we be able to castrate a donkey? And I said, yeah, it's been a few years, but yeah, no problem. Of course, I used to do equine work. I'd happily do that. Anyway, I woke up in the ambulance, having been kicked in the face by this donkey. And my wife, in the meantime, was phoning a friend of mine from an equine practice to come round and finish the job off. So that donkey that you dealt with, Georgie, that would be my friend, because I imagine you put a nice soft foot on it so it wouldn't ever injure people like me again. Is that right?
I did try.
Good.
Try. The thing was, he was such a small donkey, but no one told me that when they asked me to make the foot. So when they
It's a big
sent me
foot.
the dimensions, I was just like, nah. So I made it a little bit bigger. Realizing actually when I did go and see the donkey that they were right, it was a tiny donkey. I would never have done it if it had been a big donkey, because it would never have, but yeah, the diameter of its leg was about that wide.
I know a song about that. It's called Little Donkey. Shall I go and make a drink?
Yeah, why don't you go and make a drink, Mike?
All right,
and Georgie and I will catch up about donkeys.
All right, I'm going to make a special drink tonight because you said you've had a bit of a dull day, so I'm going to make a superhero drink tonight. So
I've got to... Right, stop there for a sec. Ring at the door. I'll be right back.
you go and answer the door then, Julian. I'll make a gin.
You've already made your gin, is that right?
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, what fun. How the hell do you make that gin? I want to know.
Well, you'll have to watch the episode. Well, what a day I've had today. So, bit of a superhero day today. So, in reference to a superhero, the drink I thought I'd make tonight is straight out of Deadpool. So I'm going to make an aviation gin martini. So let's see what I've prepared so far. The secret of a good gin martini is making sure that your glass is nice and cold. Ice in the mixer. All ready to go. Aviation gin. Individual botanicals, individually brushed with the tears of the owner of Aviation Gin, Ryan Reynolds. That's what it says on the advert anyway. So, I'm just going to add a little extra orange to that, just to bring that out, and in the fridge, the all-important martini. We don't need quite so much of this, just a flavour. Top on. Strain that out into the glass. Finish that off with the spiral I made earlier. One gin martini, fit for superheroes and spies. Delicious.
So Mike's made his posh gin.
Yeah.
And I've got a Negroni, or the remains of a Negroni.
What's one of those?
Negroni is great. It's a soft drink, basically. It's double gin, single martini, single Campari.
Oh my god, how amazing!
Named after the Negroni family in Italy. But you're pretty good at Spanish, aren't you?
My mother's Spanish, so I can swear fluently in Spanish.
Fantastic, great.
Indeed. My
Go on,
cat's come in, he wants to know what's going on. But
say something very rude in Spanish to Mike.
No.
To me. Mike, go on.
To Mike?
To Mike, not to me. I'll get hurt. But to Mike.
Necesitas un poquito más pelo.
Wow.
We'll
Amazing. Does it do it for you?
it turned the air blue. We'll get that cut out, shall we? Mike, calm down. Calm down.
I just said you need a little bit more hair, that was all. That's terribly rude. Sorry.
A little
You're
more.
just right as you are. You're just right as you are.
I just love the whole Spanish lisp. That's
The lisp.
yeah.
You want me to do my tongue twister, don't you?
Oh, go on then.
El perro de San Roque no tiene rabo porque Ramón Ramírez se lo ha robado.
And that's why masks work in Spain to reduce coronavirus spread. And they spit, you see. So they need masks. And we don't do that in England, so we don't really need masks.
You definitely don't need words beginning with a J.
Look, my gin
amazing.
delivery.
Oh, how
My
fantastic!
gin delivery has arrived.
Vital supplies. So is that overproof Plymouth gin again?
No, I think this is just no, it's only 40%.
Oh, what? What's the point of that?
The weak stuff.
Wow.
That's ridiculous. Why would you have that? What would you going to do with that?
I don't know. I'll stick it over prawns and make some saganaki.
Yeah.
All you can do, isn't
What's
it?
that? What's
Oh, look, here we
Saganaki?
are. And the saganaki prawns. This is. Look at
Oh,
that.
Oh,
There
I've
we go.
heard this one. I want to try this.
Oh, pop your glass over.
Oh,
Thank you very
Why
much.
do
My
that?
glamorous assistant.
But for the audience that can't see this, Julian's holding up a delightful bottle of Roku Japanese gin. He's now holding it alongside his face and stroking it, looking like some sort of happy Buddha character.
I'm a happy. It's the fat bald thing again, isn't it? Like.
Well, so, you see, the thing with this, Georgie, is this isn't going to go out as a video. It's also going out on audio.
oh, it's a podcast.
So unless we explain what's going on, then the people listening can just hear inane giggling, which is
Yeah.
needed from me when we've had a few later on.
Well, in which case, I'm holding my favourite gin of a Tanqueray, sort of, not the number 10, just the ordinary Tanqueray.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that.
And
Nothing wrong.
Pancras, I tend to.
I can't see you holding it though. That's the problem.
No, I
No.
don't have any.
You don't have it.
I'm
We
afraid
can
of a beefeater. That's about all I've got at the moment.
So for those listening at home that can't see this, Georgie's saying she's holding this bottle of gin. She isn't actually holding anything.
It's a nice bottle.
Actually, no, I'll hold something. Hang on.
Oh, who's this?
This is Frodo.
Hello, Frodo.
Frodo's the love of my life.
Oh,
Say hi.
hello,
Hello,
Frodo.
Frodo's a killing machine, I'm afraid.
Oh,
But he's also gorgeous.
okay.
Yeah. So that's Frodo. Hi.
So for the viewers who are listening to this, Frodo is a small golem-like creature with mad staring eyes.
You know, he was nearly called Gollum,
And,
and I
and
couldn't do it to him because I thought it was so rude because he was such an ugly kitten.
You'd have to then do the golem expression, the impression, wouldn't you?
Precious, got my gin at Bombay Gin's now, no, nasty, habits.
Oh, no, you scared him. Look at his face. He's like, no, don't eat
He really is
me.
Frodo.
Oh,
Yeah.
my precious.
yeah, Frodo's not the only one that's scared.
Yes, Frodo, there can only be one ring to unite us all. It's a party ring with glazed icing on it.
Listeners are really going to be confused by this because there's a beautiful painting behind Georgie with
That's very
some
kind
pair
of
of
you to
lilies
say
on
beautiful
it.
painting.
And there's an iron cockerel behind it.
He's made of wood.
Oh, a wooden cockerel. Oh, there we go.
Right, okay.
So your cock's got wood.
One of my pieces. Yes.
You did that as well, did you?
Yeah, of course. Of course, yeah.
So
Julian,
Do you want to hear him crow?
Julian, we're before the watershed at the moment.
We can't do this thing.
Do you
can
want
we?
to hear him crow?
I'd love to hear him crow, please.
Yes, we'd love to hear your.
Are you ready?
Mhm.
Yes.
That's amazing. That is astounding.
That's remarkable.
Quite good, isn't it?
That's very good.
Very good. No
That was
batteries or
almost-
anything.
That was almost as if you'd got a live cockerel in the room with you.
No, amazing.
I
It's
thought
not
there was.
unusual, to be fair.
So how did you get into art, Georgie? Have you always done it?
Where did this come? Where's this tenuous link? I've been drawing since I was little.
Yes.
Little. I have two sides. I'm either arty or I'm sciencey. It depends what mood I'm in. I do a bit of everything,
Yeah.
but none of it genius.
Some of it pretty close to genius, I think.
No, I don't think so.
Well, I have to say, your wound stuff is pretty amazing.
Oh, no. It's a bit fun. I'm liking the tech stuff these days, but that's yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. It's good. And actually, just to draw you out a bit, if we could, on the wound the wound care, because obviously this is a CPD podcast.
Oh, right.
It's your actual CPD. It classes as CPD, and we'll go into that later. But just to draw you out a bit, if we could, on the wound care. What advice can you give our listeners who may be taking their dogs out for a walk? Is there a first aid kit they should take with them, and what sort of first aid could they do on wounds? So,
Take them.
we'll assume their dog has just been snagged by some barbed wire.
So we talk about prepare, promote, and protect. So they're your three words to remember. Prepare being wound bed preparation, all about the lavage, cleaning the wound, more powerful than any product you're ever going to put on it. So it may not be that you take something with you, but get a hose and wash that wound as soon as you possibly can. For every hour earlier you wash a wound, you reduce the volume of bacteria by half. So the risk of infection is reduced exponentially the earlier you wash it, which is kind of cool stuff. There was actually some proper research done. So
Wow, we've not
rest
had
of
proper
it-
research on this show before, have we?
which
Well, it wasn't
Interesting.
published in the Lancet by any chance, was it?
I'm not sure where it was published, but it was published fairly reasonably. But
Yeah,
Yes,
it was published.
Lancet seems to have been called into disrepute recently, doesn't it?
oh, has it? What's happened? Tell me.
They have published a couple of alleged peer-reviewed papers or pre-peer-reviewed papers that have subsequently been withdrawn after changing the whole course of the World Health Organization's strategy towards a thing called, was it COVID-19 or something?
Colin 19.
Colin, I can't
Colin
remember.
19, yeah.
It wasn't that important.
Ah.
Didn't make much of a difference to the world.
Did you see my cartoon about COVID-19?
No, you got a
What was
cartoon.
your cartoon about COVID-19, Georgie?
I'll try and find it for you.
Yes,
Hang on a
please.
minute. Well, it's kind of about COVID-19.
While you're looking for it, I'll just give you a bit of a pre-drivel, if I could, to that story about the rinsing wounds in goats and the research that went into that. It was carried out by the British Army because they're, as we know, very good at creating wounds. Unfortunately, about 100 years ago, so mid First World War, they were looking into the possible causes of gas gangrene. They didn't know that Clostridium perfringens had caused it then, because the name Clostridium or perfringens were not known at that time. But they thought that it had something to do with deep wounds and dirty dressings. So what they did was, on Salisbury Down, they got about 150 sheep, and they wrapped bandages around their legs. And they took the bandages from people who had died of gas gangrene. And then they got squaddies to shoot them through the bandage into the leg. Of the 5 sheep that survived, 4 of them got gas gangrene, and therefore they concluded that it was dirty dressings that had caused it. The others had been shot through the head or somewhat by mistake. And so It wasn't the world's best controlled experiment or the world's most successful one, but it did prove that there was a link between dirty dressings.
So correlation has got nothing to do with, I can't remember how you term all of that, but yeah, correlation doesn't mean...
So, some of Koch's postulates were fulfilled, therefore it must be dirty bandages. And so they boiled them after that and reduced the rate of gas gangrene.
That must have been a hell of a barbecue on Salisbury Plain that night.
Don't. And I'll never find this image for you because I hate my Mac so much. I can never find anything.
Oh, do you want to swap them for a PC?
Other computers are available.
Sorry, yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Computers are available.
See? This I posted on Facebook and nobody got it. Somebody got it.
Brilliant. That's incredible.
Was
Now,
it something I said? It's COVID.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's always one who spoils it for everyone and goes, I've got it.
We should have shown this to Matt last week. He'd have loved it because of the Ravens connection.
Yeah.
You reckon?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in stitches. I had this in my head and I just thought, I have to do it. I have to do
That's
it.
great.
And I sat here like a demon going, I've got to draw. I've got to draw. So
That's awesome.
showed it to my other
Brilliant.
half. And he goes,
Absolutely brilliant.
I don't get it. No one
Yeah, the 19th Corvid. Excellent.
Woo. Yes, that's it. That's about the
Makes
extent.
perfect sense.
Have you still got these, Georgie, on paper?
What, these pictures? No,
Yes.
I do them all on iPad. Because I put a post on Facebook and someone said, what program do you do it in? And I said, paper. And they went, ha ha, like with a pencil. And I went, no, it's called paper.
It's called paper.
Yeah.
That's great.
Right.
And it allows you to do that.
Yeah.
Do you know,
There's one of my
I-
cats I did.
that's
You were busy.
fantastic. That is amazing.
So I drew him.
Wow.
So I'm always in awe of people who have artistic talent. I have none. I'm going to prove it. This is a blank bit of paper here. There you go, blank bit of paper. I'm going to draw
Okay.
the only thing that I can draw, okay? And my daughters and my wife are fed up with this because every card I ever write, this is my sort of signature that goes on this. And it's a hedgehog. There we go.
That's great.
Looks all right, doesn't it?
Excellent.
It's all
Definitely
right.
a hedgehog.
Yeah,
Did
I've
you
drawn
really
it about
draw it?
1,000 times. It's the only thing I can draw. I didn't draw anything else.
I think you should draw something for me.
Okay.
Camel,
A camel. Look at that. That's
2
awesome.
humps.
2 humps. I'm going to draw a bronchus and alveoli.
Okay.
Oh,
No, that's George's cock of van, isn't it?
no,
Oh, that's
you don't want that.
that's
Oh, God.
and it divides in 2 here.
The stomach.
So it divides in 2 there. We
You're
got
just drawing naughty things, aren't you?
what, anatomical drawings? What's
guys, I'm gonna-
what the problem is?
I'm going to have a Roki gin. Other gins are available.
Other gins are available.
But here we go.
Yeah.
The time has come.
Do you have it with anything?
Yeah, have it with Mike.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have my aviation gin this evening with Julian and you, Georgie.
I'm going to have.
Oh,
I'm going to have
well, I want a gin then.
Oh, come around for a gin.
Come around.
Hang on.
We could do a proper socially distanced gin.
Yeah.
I could make you
Bear
my
with
double.
me. I'll go and make one.
Yeah.
Hold
Okay.
on.
Go on then.
All right.
Have you noticed that some of our guests have got this habit of just getting up and walking out?
They bugger off, don't they? They leave for a while.
Off they go.
Yeah. Let's appraise George's living room while we're there. Is it living room or a kitchen? Actually, it's difficult to tell, isn't it?
I've got a feeling it's a living room. It's next to it.
Nice thieves. Ah, there's a cat. You've got a gin and tonic now, have you?
I have.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, cheers,
Cheers.
George.
Cheers.
Oh,
Gin.
Great to see you.
Hmm.
So I just bit of a drinking problem. There we go.
We always have a drinking problem on a Wednesday afternoon, don't we?
Mike,
Yes, sir.
can I have a look at that gin you're drinking? It's a different one to the one you had. Have you finished your martini?
Yep. Finished my martini. I figured I'd treat myself to another one.
You got that nice one. Didn't I see? Have you got the martini glass there still?
Yes.
I didn't pick it up at the time because there was a lot of other stuff going on, but do you have a bit of floaty orange in that somewhere?
No, that's gone now. I've eaten that.
you've eaten the floaty. It was a bit of, it's quite nice. I don't know whether you saw this, Georgie, but Mike had a bit of sort of floaty, spirally orange in his drink. I was going to mention it, but we were gaffing on about wounds and stuff.
Do you want me to show you how I made it?
Yeah.
Yeah, show us how you made it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Just like this. How did I make the spiral, Julian? I'll show you. Orange, zester, very carefully peeling, just following the curve of the fruit. Just taking off that narrow, thin strip. No doubt this is where it'll all go wrong. Narrow, thin strip. This isn't the best of zesters. Let's see what we can do. What I then did was wrap it around my swizzle stick. And just stretch that out, just so you can see the oils starting to appear. And there is your spiral.
Wow, that's so easy.
How
You
cool
make
is
it look
that?
so easy. Isn't that
Yeah.
fantastic? Great.
Can we go back to the 3 Ps because it's serious CPD?
Oh, yes, the 3
So
Ps.
we've got wound lavage, which
Yeah.
was, what was that? Preparation.
Prepare.
Prepare.
Prepare, right?
All
Okay.
in the preparing of
Right.
wounds.
So, and they can just use a hose. Just any water is better than
Nothing at all.
nothing at all.
And then finish with saline if you can,
Yeah.
which is a teaspoon of salt in a pint of water. Or
Yeah.
water. So you can make that at home if you haven't got it anywhere else.
Or if they wanted to take a little tube of that eye wash, they could do that for a wound. Small wound.
Even
couldn't they?
better. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I
And
think
even the which is totally cheating the system, but oh bloody hell, what do they call it? The contact lens cleaner, the
Mhm.
spray that you get from
Right.
the chemist.
Yeah.
That's still 0.9 saline, cheap as anything. and
Okay.
that'll do.
And the spray isn't too strong. It's not going to drive infection deeper into the wound, is it?
No, well, believe it or not, they've done a lot of research into the pressure that is applied to.
Absolutely. 20 ml syringe and a green needle, isn't it, to get
That's
22
about
psi?
right. Yes. So anything that is less than 15 psi or thereabouts is proven not to push bacteria deeper into the wounds, but is enough to dislodge it. And it's actually better to do it at pressure than it is to not do it at all. So just dripping stuff in the wound is not good enough. That's not going to shift it. You're better to do it at pressure.
Is this why we put salt and vinegar on our chips?
Yes, that's right, Mike. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And why, if you see Donald Trump, just spray him with hot vinegar because it'll get rid of any infection he may have.
Actually, sorry to interrupt, but there's more research into the antimicrobial benefits of vinegar than many other products.
Is there?
I've had some seriously good effects of acetic acid on resistant Pseudomonas. So if you wonder what malacetic is, acetic acid
Indeed.
vinegar. I bought some stuff for a sore ear once. I had a boil in my ear or something, and it was so sore. And I thought, right, I'm going to go to the chemist and buy something. And I squirted it into my ear, and I thought, I can smell salt and vinegar. And then I bloody took this thing, and it said 3% acetic acid, and I thought, damn it, I could have made that myself. I just spent £7.90 on something that I could have done at home. So I reckon watch this space for acetic acid, because I think it's one of these things that hasn't really been exploited much. Or something
Definitely.
else, and I'm sorry to go all silly. Silly. I either do clinical or rude.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. Dude, I had great success a few months back with a really chronic Pseudomonas otitis using runny honey.
Really?
Mm.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. After 2 weeks, completely clear. The owner put Gale's honey, other honeys are available, into the ear twice a day.
Who's Gail? I don't know Gail.
She's a lovely girl. Yeah. Lovely girl. I was going to choose her as my bubble, but my wife chose her mother. There we go.
It's probably just as well, actually, Julian.
I think it probably is, isn't it?
So what was I going to say? Yeah.
Acetic acid.
Take acetic acid. Take the pH of a wound with a urine dipstick, and if it is more than 8, in pH, chances are it may well be a Pseudomonas. It really likes an alkaline environment. So we've been doing that with a few people who submit cases, and then they use malacetic ear wash sometimes. Actually, it is okay for me to say that. It's not okay for the company to say you can use it, but it's okay for me to say that that wash is okay. But,
everything's okay on this program. We're not being sponsored at all.
But it fizzes if it's Pseudomonas.
Is that right?
Impressive, yeah.
So now, does Pseudomonas produce alkalinizing agents?
Yes, it does. It creates its environment to suit itself. It will create an alkaline environment. So it's a really good indicator.
Like we're doing right now, then.
Yeah.
And the other thing acetic acid has been shown to do, and correct me if I'm wrong, is to break down the biofilm around necrotic tissue.
Yep. So biofilm is all the rage. It has been in human healthcare for quite some time. Everyone's talking about biofilm. So if you summarize it, I have my little anecdotes that people know about. So I say, if I'm going to have my bag of chips and I put pepper on my chips, if I put the pepper on my chips and I shake my chip, the pepper's going to fall off. So that's contamination. If I'm talking about a biofilm formation, if I put that pepper on my chip, but I leave it for long enough that that pepper creates a little protein coat around it, it glues itself to my chip. I can shake it as much as I want. And that's the difference between lavaging early and leaving it for a longer period of time, because that protein coat means that that lavage isn't going to shift anything. So the earlier you do it, the less likely you are going to get a biofilm. And then once you've got a biofilm, shifting it, some antibiotics won't touch it from the inside, and some lavage may not touch it from the outside. So some products like PHMB, there's all sorts of different things out there, octenadine, all sorts of different antimicrobials, the new modern ones, they all claim to be bioburden busting, but they can't actually claim that in the veterinary field because it's it's considered a pharmaceutical kind of effect.
I see a question from Mike here.
Sorry, Mike. I've gone up.
Are you saying that if I put pepper on my chips, I should wait until I get my chips down to the park or back home before I eat them? Because otherwise, if I try and eat them as soon as I get out of the chip shop, the pepper will come off.
I hope the pepper comes off because I hate pepper.
Yeah, pepper on chips is awful.
Salt is okay, but not pepper.
Yeah. So and vinegar. Chili sauce.
Vinegar's great because it'll neutralise the pepper. So just put loads of vinegar on.
Right, okay. Right, that's good. And
then if pepper's not going to proliferate, you'd be fine.
And the curry sauce?
Oh, God. We all love a bit of slough and debris and pus and stuff. So get the curry sauce on there.
Or guinea pig pus, or guacamole as we call it.
Do you know what I thought? We should do a range of courses that are in places that sound like phases of wound healing. So I've got one of them sussed. We're going to have a meeting in Slough. I'm really struggling with all the rest.
Well, there must be a place in Spain called Granulation.
Oh, God, yes! Granulation. Absolutely. And then I was listening to the news and they were talking about Staten Island, and I thought, Staten Island.
Fantastic.
Let's do it. So now we've got a few more to find.
So preparation. The first.
Yes.
Sorry, prepare.
It's still on the first one.
Prepare. What's the second P then, Georgie?
It's an easy one. Promote. So once you've got the inflammation out of the way and you've got rid of all the dead stuff and you've used whatever you need to do to kill all the bugs and stuff and prevent biofilm formation, then it's promote healthy granulation tissue formation, which is simply just keeping the wound bed moist, apparently. And it will heal 30 to 50% faster if it's kept moist.
Moist but not wet.
But not wet. Because definitely we've seen where people use too much hydrogel on granulating wounds, they will over-granulate. So it's a balancing act. And there's no science to it. It's just Goldilocks factor of you look at it one day, if the dressing is stuck to the wound, it's too dry. If the dressing is sodden wet, then it's too wet. So
I can relate to that. As a racing cyclist, I was unfortunate enough to come off my bicycle a number of times in the peloton. And you get what's called gravel rash, where it skins the upper layers of your epidermis off and makes you red raw all over your bottom, all the way down your thighs. And if you don't put a wet dressing on, what tends to happen is the bedclothes stick to your leg and your back and your bottom. And when you roll over at night, you untuck the bedclothes before you rip it off the tissue.
Well, that's back into the prepare phase again. Because that's called wet to dry dressing.
Yeah.
And they hurt like hell. So
They do.
you
They
only
do.
do those at the beginning when you've got a wound that's full of gravel and debris and
Yep.
stuff. As soon as it granulates, keep it
And
warm.
you anaesthetise to do it, or provide local anaesthesia.
Yeah. You just put a wet dressing straight on and you just leave it on there. It's brilliant. Much better.
Just as a segue into George's polyglot style of life, if you sit on a field with that situation, with that sore bottom, then you wake up with a Spanish thank you, don't you? Gracias.
Could you do tumbleweed?
That was also. I think we can.
Yeah,
I think we can.
I think you're right there, Georgie. I mean, and so cut, and we'll laugh as if he's finished telling the joke and we thought it was hilarious. So, are you ready? On 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's brilliant, Julian. Oh my word! God, gracias! Oh,
You're too kind, guys.
gracias! Oh, awesome! So back onto the 3 Ps then, Georgie.
Yeah. So you got prepare and promote.
Prepare and promote. I still want to know where the maggots come in on all of this, but prepare and promote.
My thesis, brilliant. Oh, my therapy, brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, so I'm afraid maggots are back in prepare again.
Oh, okay.
There's an awful lot of stuff goes in the prepare bit. Quite honestly, 90% of it is weighted in prepare.
Yeah.
If you do that bit right, the rest will follow. So
Absolutely. A wound wants to heal. Generally, a wound wants to heal. What you need to do is get rid of the stuff that's stopping it. And once you've done that, it's going to heal, isn't it?
and that's dead stuff, necrotic tissue, foreign body, anything that's just holding it back. So most of the things that we use are tools that are trying to help us debride. So maggots are a tool, honey is a tool. Nothing is going to heal the wound for you. All it does is help you create the environment that is going to give you the propensity to heal better. So nothing is magic. So once it gets to the promote section, the idea is to use something that is non-toxic, that is not going to damage the cells, that is going to enable proliferation, to make sure that those vascular new buds are going to be produced as efficiently as possible, and they are not going to damage fibroblasts that are pulling the edges of the wound together. So anything that you use that's going to knock them out is going to stop the promote phase. So people are often surprised that chlorhexidine will damage fibroblasts. That will stop the wound contraction. It will stop you laying down collagen. So be kind in the granulation phase. Be kind and just look after your tissue. But everything before that is kind of like Jekyll and Hyde. Dr. Jekyll, you can be nice with Dr. Jekyll. Mr. Hyde, when it's in the inflammatory phase, get rid of the... I tend to sound my horrible, rude joke. It's not rude, but it's as rude as I go.
You can take it.
My toilet story. But effectively, if you've got an enormous turd in the toilet, you can throw your antiseptics at it all day. It's not going to shift. But if you flush it, you'll get rid of it. So you have to flush the shit out of the toilet first, and then you spray your antiseptics. So it's all about getting rid of bioburden first, and then supporting the wound to proliferate. And then once it's done that, and then after that, along with the promoting, you've got to protect the wound. So you've got to stop it from moving, you've got to stop people interfering, you've got to put a bandage on there, protect surrounding tissue. There's about 12 different factors that you can, and you can check my website where we've got 12 factors of healing delay, and you can download the form and you can go through all your wounds and do all of that.
Which website's that, Georgie?
That's vetwoundlibrary.com, and we have
Vetwoundlibrary.com.
That's the vetwoundlibrary.com.
www.vetwoundlibrary.com.
And now here's a break from normal, because other veterinary wound libraries are not available.
No.
No,
No.
none.
Yeah.
It's the only one.
So that's our 3 Ps then, is it?
That's it. Prepare, clean the, get rid of all the dead stuff.
Yep.
Promote, support the granulation tissue and epithelial migration, wound contraction, protect, avoid all the factors that are going to delay healing, like movement and everything else. And one thing that we notice from cases that we support through the Vet Wound Library, because we do telemedicine stuff and all of that, people tend to leave it too long in the promote phase, and they kind of wait, and they think, well, just give it another week, we'll give it another week. Biggest mistake is leaving it for too long before you decide on reconstruction. So what we tend to tell a lot of nurses is, if you're looking over the shoulder and you see a surgeon and you see a lovely healthy granulating wound, it's your turn to say, what are we going to do now? Are we going to reconstruct, or is this wound going to be managed by second intention? Because
it's quite important, I think, isn't it, to say at this stage that granulation tissue cannot exist in the presence of infection. So once you've got granulation tissue, you know that infection's out of the way.
Totally. And people use antimicrobials on granulating wounds and still think that it's painful when it's not necessarily painful at all. Yeah. And they also use antimicrobials and antibiotics when it's well out the way. If you're going to lance an abscess and you get rid of all the slough and the pus that's in there, I tend to ban the word pus, but that's another night's worth of talk. If you get all the dead cottage cheese out of there and you see granulating tissue at the bottom, if the edge of the wound isn't inflamed, it's not red, it's not angry, not infected. It was.
No, there's no need. Yeah. So there's a difference between infection and contamination, and that difference is difficult for the layperson to understand. It must be, because it's very difficult for the vet to understand. And so there's a lot of overuse of antibiotics, I think because of this misunderstanding of what areas of the wound and what development of the wound really means in terms of bacterial load.
I think when I qualified, and I know I did human feet and the like, but I was terrified by wounds because I would see the yellow stuff and immediately I'd think infection. See redness, swelling, pain, edema, infection. Cover my back because I didn't know as much as everybody else, or I thought I didn't. So I would think, okay, this patient needs antibiotics. What I didn't realise is it's the period of time, 2 days after injury, 2 days post-injury, classic peak of inflammation, redness, swelling, pain, exudate, yellow stuff. It doesn't mean it's infected. But if you've still got that at maybe 6 days post-injury, something's going on to prolong that inflammation, but a prolonged inflammation doesn't mean infection.
No, and it's interesting you said that the pus is one of your bugbears, because actually pus is an accumulation of white blood cells, and white blood cells are there both for healing potential, removal of necrotic tissue, as well as for dealing with infection. And actually a lot of the time the pus is there as a good thing, to try and increase the tumor necrosis factor, epithelial growth factor, and things like that within the wound, to promote those epithelial cells promote them to regrow.
And I saw that in human healthcare, where I used to see elderly ladies with leg ulcers, and they have a little wound on the side of their ankle. That's a classic sign, classic place for a venous leg ulcer. They get sort of redness and sort of irritation around the ankle, and there's a classic spot where it comes out, and they would come into the to the practice nurse, walking in and saying, I've got this little ulcer, it's leaking, I want to go to church on Sunday, I want to wear my nice shoes and my tights, and I want to look civilized. And they'd put an Inodine dressing on it, and the Inodine was the iodine dressing that I used to say would just basically kill everything in the wound bed temporarily, so it dries it up. And the perception is that because it's dry, it's not a problem. So the lady goes to church, she's got a nice dry wound, little Primapore over it, no problem. As soon as the Inodine wears off, and it neutralizes in the presence of protein, so as soon as it's neutralized, what you get is a new inflammatory response. The week later, she comes back and says, it was fine for a week, but now it's dried, now it's oozing again. And I remember seeing that lady for over 18 months, having 1 week on iodine, 1 week off, 1 week on, 1 week off. And the thing being, they were fighting what perceived infection. And actually, if they let it progress through inflammation and through proliferation, it would have healed. But it's that perception that yellow is bad, and yellow is not bad.
It is. And there's a perception as well, isn't there, with the smell of dressings. So a lot of the hydrogel dressings, colloid gel dressings that you take off now will smell pretty awful. And I've seen vets and I've seen nurses look at these rays. Oh, whoa, what a smell! There's still infection there. Let's stick it on stronger antibiotics. But actually, the role of these things is to draw the proteins in,
Exactly.
and the proteins are going to go off, aren't they? They're going to
So
start.
the old-fashioned poultice that people talk about, poultice, that's exactly what honey does. And it draws, it's osmotic, it draws the dead stuff out of the wound, and that dead stuff does stink. And if you lavage it, and you can see a healthy granulating wound bed, raw steak, strawberry jam, smoked salmon colour, if there's no inflammation around the margins of the wound and there's no swelling, it's not infected, it's just normal inflammatory exudate. And if in doubt, ask someone for help, because there's someone at the end of the phone.
So, someone like Bandage Angels or the Veterinary Wound Library.
Wound Library, we've got someone who'll help. Yeah, absolutely. Send us a photo and we'll there's two ways to get involved with the Vet Wound Library and to use it. One is you can be a member for a year for £75, and that includes as much webinar as you can get your hands on. So there's webinars on there on physiology, bandaging, which dressing to use when. We've got a new product guide on there, which is going to be really exciting, which is going to be, we have evidence and all sorts of things in there as well. And then if you want telemedicine with that, if you're an individual member at £75, it's £45 to get help for the case. And we help you from start to finish. So it's not just that individual picture. We chase you up, we follow it up, we get all the pictures and all the images, and we help you get that wound healed from start to finish in the quickest time with the least complications. That's the whole idea. The other thing is we do a practice membership, which is £390 for the whole team for one address, and that's free telemedicine for the whole year. So you can get as much webinar as you can get your hands on, and anything you want to ask for is free. So we're there to make sure you get the right outcome first time, to learn from it, get a good experience so that you're more confident next time. That's basically what we're there for. We just want people to feel that they can pick up their phone, take a photo, and that they'll get help from a specialist who appreciates what they're going through. If somebody's made a mistake, if somebody's pulled a wound together and it's under tension, or something's broken down, or you feel like someone's made a massive mistake and it's all a bit awkward, that's what we're here for. We're not there to say someone's done something wrong. We're there to say, okay, let's see what we can do now and make the best of this. That's what we want, the animal to get a best outcome. It's a welfare thing for everyone.
Yeah.
So listen, guys, can we? Sorry.
Bedtime.
No, well, almost bedtime. Feasibly, almost bedtime. So can we summarise then? The 6 Ps. The perfect preparation prevents piss poor performance of wounding.
That one.
That's 7. So a client going out
4, 5, 6,
with their dog should take, ideally, as a first aid kit, if they're going to take anything, a bandage and some eye wash.
Yeah.
And a stick.
In case there's a bleed.
Yep.
Apply pressure. Don't remove the bandage. Keep applying it. If it bleeds through, don't remove it. Just keep applying. And a volume, but it's volume of solution that's the most important thing. So they've got to get volume through there, and the earlier they can do that, the better.
The better.
So don't hang around at home waiting for an appointment in the evening. And the other thing is, for an owner, is to know that their phone is their friend, and that they can take a photograph, send it to the vet, and if you send that to your vet, even the vet nurse, some practices have a wound nurse or a nurse who's really into wounds, who'll be able to look at that and say, do you know what, that wound is at a joint, or that wound is in an area that's really vulnerable. You need to bring the dog in now. So don't wait till the end of the day. Hours do count. So,
because what I hate is when I hear that an owner has phoned a vet out of hours and the vet has said, "Oh, I'll see it in the morning." There's no advice. There's no wash the wound out. Whereabouts is the wound, by the way? How big is it?
Yeah.
Overlying what structures? It's just got a wound. Is it still bleeding? No, it's all right then. I'll see it in the morning.
And I think most wounds will stop bleeding within 10 to 15 minutes. If it's not, if I mean, you can split this down so much that you could kind of like say, oh, well, where is the wound and what have you. Send a photo is the best option, because you just don't know. I saw someone had someone ring me in the village who said, the dog's just had a wound, it's just injured itself. The chap was babysitting for someone, bless him, and described the wound to me, and didn't sound like much. I said, I tell you what, I'll be down there. I just had a glass of wine, so I couldn't drive, but I went down on a bike. And it turned out that the dog had just jumped over a hazel picket fence, those picket fences, to go and try and catch a rabbit. And I could actually see from the picket fence that the hair was probably 6 or 8 inches down, but there was just a hole in its groin. And I said, you need to get the hose pipe in there, let's wash it. But I said, I'm sorry, you need vet attention now.
Yeah.
And they got vet attention now, and the dog was fine. But you can describe a wound and it might sound like a small hole, but actually I said, take a photo of the fence and take it with you. Show the vet how deep that wound's gone, because actually you would never know if you hadn't seen it. So he was okay. But generally, I think something we see with the vet wound library and the bandaging angels, the reason we set them up, we see an awful lot of bandage injuries. So I'm not very keen on advising owners to put a bandage on.
No.
So I'd rather they just wash it and leave it open than try and make a bandage and then end up with the limb falling off.
I was distracted for a moment then. But Mike sort of shifted position, and I caught a glimpse of his shirt. It's difficult. Is that wool, that shirt, Mike?
Yes, brushed wool.
It's really nice.
Oh, thank you. Oh.
Really nice.
I'm really embarrassed to say it, but I don't know if I should admit it. I've got some Valais black-nosed sheep. I'm so glad you don't know what they are.
It's one step down from Beulah's, isn't it?
I'm getting confused now. They're sheep, right?
They're supposed to be the cutest sheep in the world, but they are very cute. I've got one about to lamb outside. I have to check her before I go to bed. But,
there we go. There.
They look like something from Return of the Jedi, don't they?
They are. I have to say they are lovely sheep, but they're not the easiest, to be fair. They do. They're quite woolly. But
are they a little flighty?
They're a little bit psychedelic in this picture, aren't they?
They are, aren't
they? They're really cuddly. They're ridiculously cuddly, but they are. It's my little accidental. I bought one, and then I got another 2, and then went from there. Really.
They are cute, aren't they? But actually, you're absolutely right. You can see how people would look at that and think, I'm going to get one, and not have the faintest idea how they're going to look after it, isn't it? When I just qualified, I had a client who used to she kept old English sheepdogs, and she used to shave them twice a year and get the wool from it, and she knitted a jumper from her old English sheepdog's wool. She spun it. The work that had gone into this was amazing. The arms were the typical one arm too long, one arm too short.
Amazing.
It was incredible. I was so grateful that she'd done it. The only problem was...
Grateful? She didn't make you wear it.
She made me wear it. I kept it for about 6 months. The problem was, I'm sure that there's some sort of washing process that occurs, isn't there? And this thing stunk of incontinent old English sheepdog. And I dutifully kept it for as long as I could. And I thought, for some sake, I've got to get rid of this. It just stinks to high heaven. And people would come around to the house and, Julie, do you have an incontinent old English sheepdog here? Kind of, yes. We'll move on, shall we?
Must have been really itchy.
It was awful. The work that went into it,
You had to wear it. That's just like the ultimate Christmas jumper, isn't it?
I know. I just felt so guilty ultimately throwing it away, because this woman must have put hours of work into it. But jeez, it stunk. Whew.
Did you find it? Yeah, it was handy when you were rounding up sheep, though.
Very, very handy, yes.
Just like you automatically knew what to do, didn't you?
Yeah. Hurry, let's go that way.
You just had this need to crouch down in the corner and go, whatever. I don't mind, I'll do it. Whatever you want, I'll do it.
I'd pop into a pub, in the farmer's pub down the road, and they'd say, "Come by." Stay. I must bring something up with you, because you very kindly sent in your list of interests.
What have I done?
We haven't got time to go into.
I thought we'd be finished by now.
I know, but I feel it would be a shame if I didn't mention this. I'm sorry, Michael, I'm not tonight, but foraging. I didn't know, Georgie, you're a forager.
Yeah.
Me too. I teach courses.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Mainly mushrooms, but anything edible in the field. We went on a walk as a family. We went on a walk a couple of weeks ago on our COVID two-step walks, and I found the most amazing hen of the woods.
Oh, me too. The other day, first one I've eaten.
Oh, delicious, isn't it? You got to get them when they're young, because they get quite woody and they can smell of mouse droppings.
They're so sulphurous.
But yeah.
I had one in the car and my eyes were running.
Yeah.
They really make your eyes, well, they would be sulphurous when they're bright yellow, but, well, fancy that. You see, I need to come down and I've got to find a truffle. I'm on a mission to find a truffle.
I love truffles.
See,
wonderful. Are you a truffle eater, Mike? You're out of this conversation. You're a truffle eater?
Only dark chocolate truffles.
Well, they're nice too.
Well, now I fancy a chocolate.
Well, off you go then.
I never knew before now that she was a forager.
I think it's fantastic stuff. We did a little
What do you
bit.
fancy? Sorry.
Is that
from Christmas.
Is that a noisette?
I'm afraid that one in the middle, yeah.
I couldn't manage it all. Have half of that with you. Share it with you.
I'll share it with you.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
But do you remember that time where the guest sent us something?
I remember that. Graham, wasn't it?
Yeah,
wonderful?
it was Graham, wasn't
I
he?
do that.
Sent us whiskey,
He sent us some whiskey, didn't he?
Oh, that was nice, that whiskey. He sent it.
Oh,
I think
might
we're missing
do
a
that.
trick here, Julian. We should have got Georgie to send us chocolate and truffles and
You know what this one is?
mushrooms.
Maybe we should have Georgie back for the second season, and we'll do a truffle or chocolate tasting.
Yeah.
And a mushroom tasting.
We'll have you back in the autumn.
Yeah.
Let's go foraging.
Yes.
Let's do a foraging
Let's do
one.
that. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Georgie, I prepared a CPD certificate for tonight.
Oh.
Because this is CPD. We've done some good stuff. We've done some wound stuff. It's great stuff.
That's fabulous stuff.
I'm just going to show you the certificate. I'm going to sort of just show you a little bit of there it is. There's the CPD certificate. Now I don't
Good
know.
one.
You sort of see.
There's a bit of rosemary in there somewhere.
Now,
Mike, is there anything that you haven't picked up on?
well, we can't show those bits. So, can I buy my wife a pair of your boots for Christmas? 'Cause from your website, if I order by the 1st of December, it'll be there for
Oh
Christmas.
God, I haven't updated it for ages.
There are instructions on the website, aren't there? You can press how do I measure my feet.
Yes, there are. Every single thing is made by hand. So the factory that they're made in is a family-run factory, and the people there, I've been to visit them a couple of times. The only thing that is machine-made, the only part of that boot that is done by machine, is some studs that hold the sole to the upper. And the reason to do that is because it's effectively safer, health and safety, and that's basically it. But there's a team of about 6 people in this factory, and that's all they do. So,
We can order our boots pretty much any time from the time this airs
yeah,
at Romero Boots.
yeah,
Great.
absolutely.
That's fantastic.
You don't do
Any
walking
colour,
boots?
any colour. Yeah, you can do walking boots.
Yeah.
If you send me a picture of what you like or what you want,
Yes.
I can tell you whether that's the sort of thing they can do.
Sorry to draw a close to such a wonderful, wonderful evening.
I need my beauty sleep.
We need to sort out the final bit of the CPD because that's
We do.
important.
Okay. So,
Okay.
Georgie, you know that for CPD to count these days, you need to reflect on it.
Yes, but we need the certificate first.
So here we go. You can download this. This is the certificate. Here we go. This is certificate of much learning. What else have I put in here? This certifies that today's viewers have gained much insightful wisdom about wounds, boots, and gin by watching Veterinary, intentionally spelt wrong, Veterinary Rambling, signed Mike and Julian.
Well, on that note, I think we should reflect on our CPD.
Yes.
Georgie's the first guest that's actually reflected on CPD.
He has. Well done. Good
Well done,
reflection there, Georgie. I saw
That's
you
fantastic.
with this presentation to have a sneaky drink.
Yeah,
mid-reflection.
we'll have a drink. So, have you got your joke of the joke of the evening then, Julian?
Well, I have, and I always try, a bit like Ronnie Corbett, on the same height actually, a bit like Ronnie Corbett, I try and link the joke into the subject. So this is little Johnny at school, goes up to the teacher and he says, I can't do that. We'll have to cut that.
Yeah, we'll have to cut that joke. That's unbelievable.
That won't work. That won't work.
We'll just right.
I've got another one. I've got another one in case that's
You
better.
did remind me of one then, and I forgot about it now. I mean, I'm just floored, to be fair.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm quite disgusted, actually. I don't really
I know.
think I want to be a part of this anymore.
It's great, isn't it? I've got another one that's if you prefer it, about the
I'm not sure now.
from the doctors, and she and her husband are sort of
Oh, fine. He's going rambling on and on and on. And
I do go on. And the husband said, "You been to the doctor, has you?" Yeah, I've been to the doctor. She said, "Yeah, I've been to the doctor." Oh yeah, what did he find then? Well, actually, he said that my lady bits are really very nice. I said, "What? The doctor told you that?" "Oh yeah. Very complimentary he was." "Oh. But mustard." So he gets on the phone. Oh, I'm phoning him up. I think he said that, yeah. "Hello, I want to speak to Dr. Smith, please." And the doctor answered the phone. "Yes, Dr. Smith here. You just seen my wife." I don't know. Yes. You told her that her fatty looked pretty." "Oh my God, no, I didn't know. I said she had a cute angina." We can't do that one either, can we? Sorry.
No.
That's slightly better, to be fair.
So you want to go?
Huh?
Are you saying you want to go now?
I want to check my poor you, bless her heart.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
It was looking very, very imminent when I last saw her.
You
Well, I'll tell you what. You go and check your U. We'll keep it open. And if you come back in, if the U has been successful,
I'll let you know.
you can
Let us
update
know.
us.
I'll be 5 minutes.
Go for it.
Bear with me.
All right.
Wasn't it great to have her on tonight? Brilliant.
Absolutely. It's
Guys, I'm going to need to get a new glass because this stuff.
that is so disgusting. Yeah, I thought that was the case.
I'm going to have to run to bed, or my other half will.
Tell us about no
Tell us
lamb.
about-
No lamb. No, she just stood there looking at me, going, "Yeah, and."
Look, we'll update our listeners next week on the lamb.
Thank you so much for entertaining me. It's been hilarious.
George, thank you for entertaining us.
Thank you for entertaining us.
What a great night.
I've eaten more chocolates than I should have done in the process. I'll send you what's left.
Yeah, you haven't eaten ours, have you?
Yeah, you didn't eat that.
Your ring is there waiting for you.
It's
Your
good to know.
chocolate ring is
Fantastic.
it's all yours.
We look forward to receiving that, Georgie. And may your dog go with you.
And you.
May your dog go with you.
Good night.
Good night, Georgie, and thank
Take
you.
care. Lots of love. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, thank you so much. So what a night! Woo,
Thank you for joining us for this week's episode, and once again, a massive thank you to Georgie for taking part.
Thank you. Join us next week when we speak to Fraser Yule about all things ultrasound.
And until then, May your
May
dog
your
go with
dog go with you. Night, one and all.